If it doesn't sell, it isn't creative.
From privacy breaches to mental health risks, the dark side of social media is becoming harder to ignore.
Don't start a war with someone who buys ink by the barrel.
The media world is responsible for about $1 trillion of business every year worldwide. It topples governments. It creates new industries. It's what we spend most of our time with, and it's run almost entirely by C students from state universities. Media humans, if you know any of them, are among my favorite people on planet Earth.
I wonder where you're going with that.
We're pretty important people.
That was nice. Nice land.
It's media humans are my favorite people on planet Earth because they're usually creative. If they've been in the industry for longer than a year, then they're insanely hardworking. They're usually pretty entrepreneurial.
Okay.
They have the ability to be completely full of shit, but also smack you upside the face with some truth bombs pretty regularly. So that's what this show's about, is getting to know the people behind the people behind the people behind the camera.
All right. Okay.
The media world. And we're starting off with one of my favorite media human beings, creative director for Hurley Media Group, Mr. Brandon Bowman.
Hello, everybody.
Yay!
Yeah, we're gonna cue some
we're gonna
put applause there. Okay,
probably not.
Okay.
We got a lot to do.
Yeah. Okay.
So post won't be heavy lift. It'll be whatever I have the time to do. You know.
I mean, might as well just do this now. You can just AI that, right? Right.
That's what we're gonna talk today, Brandon.
Oh.
So Brandon's the creative director here at Hurley Media Group. He's responsible for every video project that goes out the door. He works his ass off, but Brandon, I've got
not anymore.
I've got good news and I've got bad
coming.
news. Yeah, I heard you're gonna lose your job.
I heard that too.
We're all gonna lose our job to AI.
Yep.
Thoughts?
Yeah. Well, it was fun while it lasted. I liked my job, but I'm obsolete, so it's a bummer. It's funny how that's a good question though, because you get. Every time there's a new technology, you get the fear ahead of it, right? Of like, well, it is gonna change everything big time. Of course, it is.
It already is.
It already is. But you're gonna have some disruption, and then you have the sky's falling, everyone's gonna die.
Yep.
Or you have it's not gonna do anything. Can't take my job.
I feel like right now there's two types of people that I see. And now this is who I follow on LinkedIn. I work, my community is other media humans. Yeah. And there's two types of media. There's two reactions I see. One is the middle manager who's been a middle manager their entire career. Yeah. They have no discernible skill set. Yeah. But it's always really bugged them that they had to pay creative people too much.
Or talk to them or deal with them.
Or talk to them or deal with them. Yeah. And they're just like...
Speak their language.
I don't need to deal with them at all anymore. Now I can just get on Google and do it. Totally. So there's that person. Yep. I'm going to just say those guys because it is entirely dudes that I've seen post about that stuff. Yep. And then on the other side, you've got the career... like really niche creatives who either they've been... Let's just, for sake of argument, they've been an editor, a colorist, an audio engineer. Like it's very niche, their skill set, and they're mortified by it, and it's the end of the world for them. Yeah. And I think in our conversations we talk about, because we use AI quite a bit in our workflow, not probably with what people think we do. Right. But I don't think either of it really scares me. And I also just see more cool work coming out of it. So...
Yeah, I agree with you. So this is a departure for me because my brother always accuses me of being what he calls high and right guy. Okay. He's a fighter pilot. Okay. High and right.
Is that like a political thing?
No, it's not. No, but it's just like, if something starts to slip or go a little wrong, I'm like, sell everything, get out. You know what I mean? I'm one of those.
Run for the hills.
High and right, which is this way. Yeah. So, but on this one, I like my analogies. This one I thought was good. My mother worked recently in college faculty in an English department. Yep. And so, ChatGPT, she's good. Thanks for asking. She'd be happy you asked about her. I will. Yeah. You can say hi to her. You know her. Anyway, so their whole faculty was freaking out about ChatGPT.
Okay.
And how, oh my God, the kids are going to start writing papers and they're going to use AI not to do their homework, which is 1,000% what they're going to do. I mean,
they're already
having
doing
been in college, that's of course. We would have killed for that.
We had worse. What was it? My technique was to like send a bunch of ones and zeros along with the file as an attachment.
Yeah.
And then the professor would send it back while I was working on the actual paper, going like, it looks like it worked like once for me.
Oh yeah.
And
That's a
in
whole
retrospect,
departure.
I just think that was just a lazy professor who knew exactly what was going on.
Of course they did.
Sorry.
Because every deadline, every professor is like, wow, 360 of my students are sick or have a dead parent this weekend. Weird. It happens every time. But my point was, I thought she had a good point because she was pushing back in some of these faculty meetings, and she was like, we should probably start teaching ChatGPT in the classroom.
Yeah.
Because it's going to happen.
Yep.
And what's going to have to happen is these kids are going to need that skill going forward. Mm-hmm. They're going to need to learn how to prompt and use this technology because it's here and it's coming. That's how I kind of feel about our world as well.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, there's some things to be gained from it. Everyone uses it. Everyone is like, AI is going to kill us. Maybe it will, but everyone uses it.
Even if they admit it or not. There's like a shame train with it,
There's
too.
There's a shame train for sure.
Yeah.
There's a shame train for sure. And I'm judgy about how people use it, for sure.
My rule of thumb is if I can tell you're using it, then the illusion's gone and you're just a clown. But like, if I can't tell you're using it,
right,
great.
Exactly. So yeah. So you were saying before, like the way we use it, because clients ask about it every conversation.
Yep.
You know, it's basically we've now, instead of saying Google stuff, now we say we ChatGPT it.
Yep.
And then instead of saying Photoshop it, you say, can you AI that?
Yep.
Same thing.
Yep.
Just that's what stepped in the same place.
That's a really good.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like that's the next step in that train, in my opinion.
Let's talk about what it's not, and let's talk about what it is.
Yeah.
So like, where do you want to start? Do you want to start on where we use it or where we don't use it yet?
Let's just wander around.
All right.
Yeah. We should probably be more organized than that. But I would say the way we do use it.
Should I have put in like, hey, give me an outline for this podcast?
Yeah, we should have ChatGPT this.
Yeah.
Yeah. What it does is busy work. You know what I mean? And everything has busy work, and so it does open up some efficiencies, which is super helpful. So, think of it as like a junior copywriter.
Yeah.
Or an assistant. And I know that's one of the fears too, is that all the junior level jobs are going to disappear, and then you have to shoot straight to middle management. But
I started my career at a television station as a sales assistant, and 100% of my job was going through a Nielsen book with a ruler and a highlighter, highlighting, okay, that 15-minute break did this rating, and then typing that into a computer.
Busy work.
Yeah. Guess what happened when that got automated?
Yeah.
I didn't lose my job. In fact, most TV stations have. It's a worse industry now. Most TV stations have more assistants.
Yeah.
Because there's more more stuff that they do and more client expectations.
Yeah.
So that's always kind of been like, I don't think the wheel put like maybe a caveman out of business, right? But it achieves so much more and opens up new markets every time we've got technology.
I don't want to be one of those learn to code bros guys, but you can also open up a wheel factory. Start making some wheels.
But like, so I think the one thing I always tell people about and where it immediately got into our process was Adobe's suite of AI is pretty awesome, and very functional, and they put it into their tools. So the text to edit AI feature. So for the folks who aren't in the post-production world, what it does now is it immediately transcribes every piece of footage that we put in there. And to a certain degree, not perfectly, but to a certain degree, we can edit a lot of video almost like you'd edit a Word document.
Right.
So it'd be like, okay, I want to delete that. I'm going to move that sentence here, that sentence there.
Which, to be clear, just not only does it eliminate some busy work, but that's a weird way to say it, but it frees up and changes the creative process, which is nice because people who don't video edit for a living, where everyone video edits a little bit, but when you do it for 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day, there's a limit to, you can imagine, how many times you can watch the same clip, say the same thing, whether it's the most interesting thing in the world or not.
Well, and like, just think about, too, the amount of time that editors used to spend, and when I say used to spend, a year ago. Looking for, okay, I think he said that really cool thing right after he rubbed the bug out of his eye.
Yep. Exactly.
And then spending half a day trying to find that nugget.
And this sounds negative. It's not at all. But a lot of times, especially with like a talking head interview or some kind of an interview, with people on camera that aren't normally on camera, and we always say we'll make you look good. We'll cut everything out, which we do, and we love doing it, and that's our job. But what it means is we distilled down the very, very best 2 minutes that someone had to offer, which means we had to watch an hour and a half.
Depends on the client.
Everything else.
And it depends on the client.
And that's not a slam on the person.
Yeah.
I would not be able to watch myself talk for an hour and a half. No way, no how.
No.
Not even kind of.
But essentially what we get in our post-production flow is a transcript that we can use to put together that first draft or that skeleton draft within a day opposed to a week.
Yep.
And so let me kind of just take that for a second and ask, all right, you did it in a day. Do you just put your feet up and wait and then charge the client full? Or what do you do now with that free time?
Right.
Right? And I think what I've seen you do is do all the cool stuff you wish you had more time to do. And the actual creative stuff.
Yeah, a ridiculous quote I've always loved, and it sounds so ridiculous. But and I can't remember who said this, but it was all films are never finished. They just at some point they're abandoned.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. It's like any project.
Yeah.
You got to keep doing it till it's done.
Yeah.
And you could go back and redo it a million times and never be done. But my point is, by saving time on the front end with that stuff, you have more time to get more done before you have to abandon it.
I just think about it as like a construction project where it's like it's less time framing and it's more time doing the finish work, which is going to make it look more elegant and
really good
upmarket.
Point. That's a really good point. And there's a couple of little things that people wouldn't think about that that some of the AI stuff has helped with. Like one that I really like is music tracks.
Yes.
When you put music beds, that's a huge one. So it used to be like, you pick a music, you'd score the whole thing, you'd master it, and it would sound great, and then you'd come back for a revision round, and someone would say, "Oh my God, I love the video, it's great. I just wish we had one more shot of our special tractor at the end or something," right?
Yeah.
And you're like, "Yeah, of course." And that 6-second shot now made it so that it's past the music.
Yes.
And so now I gotta pick a new song. I would get into the point where I would start cutting up and then recomposing the song.
I remember,
and it would take days to just add 6 seconds.
Yes.
And now you just grab it and stretch it, and Adobe goes, "Yeah, I got that," and it just makes the song.
And you can go like, I want it to have a lot of variation, or I want it to be the same repetitive. Like
that kind of stuff is a 2-click game changer. That's huge. That's so helpful.
What's the stuff that's not quite there yet?
So it's not quite there yet. We're getting there, but so with video, you think you can do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So you can do. We now have the beta to, as of now, whatever we probably date stamp these things because these will get stale fast.
Yeah, as of end of June,
by the time
2025.
They're like, I got AI babysitting my kids at home right now, you schmucks. But
and we're both out of a job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that aged well. Yeah, exactly. You can do the same thing with video, so you can stretch a video a little longer, right? Because you cut too early or it didn't happen. That one is just like the music. It uses what's already there.
I haven't seen one that I'm super impressed with
yet.
Same,
it's not there yet. So if it's a simple shot of like, and they use it for the demo, but if it's like someone riding a moped and the background's going like this and their hair's blowing, it can make it do that a little bit longer.
Yes.
And I can also make it do that a little bit longer by just copying it.
It's only a couple seconds at this point.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to be able to just generate, you know what I mean? And then now, as of today, we have like the super funny, and they're viral for a second, they go away. Like you have like they're funny now, but they're gonna get old soon, like the Sasquatch video blog guy that's running around. Like they're funny.
Which are funny, yeah.
Right, they're funny. And they look, obviously they don't pass the eye test because the reason that's viral, whoever's doing it's a genius.
Yeah.
The reason it's viral though is because it's a Sasquatch, not a human, so you jump over the uncanny valley. It's already a fantasy thing, right? So you can just like, oh, just do that, but maybe put Brad Pitt in it. That's not going to work yet.
Okay, so you just used one of my favorite terms that you throw around. Uncanny. Can you explain what that is?
The uncanny valley is basically the gap between. We see this all the time when you see like a computer animated movie or something, where it's like, God, that looks so good. Look at that spaceship and stuff, and then someone gets on screen and they try to wink or they cry a little bit, and it's just like I can't put my finger on it, but that doesn't look right.
Yeah,
that's just how in tune we are to seeing, especially humans on camera. I mean, we are so in tune to like skin tone, like face flush, facial expressions, and we just can't simulate it quite right yet.
And humans have we've got an ingrained bullshit filter.
Yeah.
When we sense bullshit, it's danger, 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 no trust, no trust, no trust.
Yep, and it flags that.
Yeah.
So I think we still see some stuff where I think some people are being fooled because I see some things on social media that were like, and they're always some kind of clickbait something, and people look at it. I just saw this one. It was like this old woman in the countryside was like bringing her big backpack full of sticks home, and her dog grabs it and helps her pull it all the time. And it's like, for the first few frames, I was like, what's that dog doing? That's crazy. And then the second frame, then the dog's like in a backpack holding her IV. I'm like, okay, well, that's ridiculous. And you look, and like, something's wrong. So you go back and watch it, and you're like, dude, the dog changed size. The dog doubled in size, and it's a different dog in the second shot. You know what I mean? It's like, it's those simple things that's where we're not there yet.
No, but I gotta say, like, I even got, I love like pimple popping videos and stuff like that. Dude, I love them. There's just something so awesome about it.
I can see why, but I can't go down that.
But there's a whole like subsection of that of like horse hoofing.
I've
and,
seen
like,
those.
cleaning off the horse hoofs, and it's so satisfying.
I've been getting into that, and they keep shaving it down.
Oh yeah,
and
sometimes they'll find something to pull, and then it's like, oh, the horse loves it. So there was one I was watching there, and they pulled this big thorn out of a horse hoof, a horse's hoof, and then it panned up to the horse. And the horse was crying.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And then, but I was
amazing.
And then I just kept watching. And then, like 5 seconds later, I was like, "Can horses cry?"
Yeah.
And
damn it! Yeah, that's where we are.
Like, it got me. So like, we're not there yet.
So when a client says, "Can you AI that?"
Yes.
That's why we can't.
Exactly.
Not like that.
Yes. Well, there's a great.
I've got a pitch if anyone wants to take me up on this one, but
let's see. There was a great pitch with somebody. Not pitch. There's a great thing with Wall Street Journal did it. I don't know if you saw it, where they made a really cool AI video, and then the reporter stopped and was like, "This is what it took to do all of this," and it took like a ton more video resources, a ton more people who have worked in the industry for a long time who know how to manipulate certain things and all that kind of stuff.
Which,
so,
to bring it back around, it comes down to the skill of the prompting.
Yes.
That is a new skill
that
most people need to focus on in any industry that's going to be using AI. Because it's funny too, because the most successful prompts we've gotten out of any kind of, creative brainstorming, and it can be useful for that. I don't know if we mentioned that as well, but it comes down to very quickly the strength of your prompts. And all of a sudden it's like you're in a room managing a group of people. And you're like, okay, who's got a good idea? And you got to keep working that idea until you get something usable. And even then you have to take it and completely start over and humanize it.
Yeah,
it's not ready for prime time. You can't just copy and paste a ChatGPT and send it to somebody.
No, and we've all gotten the emails where somebody's tried to do that, and it's like
it's immediately obvious.
Yes,
just like the dog changing sizes in the basket video I talked about. It doesn't pass the scan.
I have tried this will shock nobody who knows me. I tried one of the because I use a lot of like Apollo.io to look up data either to target people with ads or also for prospects for our business.
Yeah.
And they had an option where you can have like a AI email drip kind of thing.
Okay.
I got called out like within 30 seconds of the first email going out, and it was like this mortifying, like, I hate me too kind of thing. Like, sorry, yes, I'm so sorry, kind of thing. So it's like, and of course all that stuff will get better, but I think still as human beings we've got this ability to see when somebody's full of shit or not, or when something's tailored to us. And I just, as a salesperson, I've never had good luck with a very, a shotgun blast approach. I have to tailor my message to whoever I'm talking to as a salesperson. Yeah. And so it's not even there on that front yet.
Right. AI at this point, what it feels like to me, because the other major indicator for, especially with video AI, photos have gotten better. We're starting to get like close to the right number of fingers that a human should have, things like that, like those tells. But there's still, with the current generation of the video AI that have just come out, the newest generation, there's a void of emotion. There's a very odd, if you can spot it right away, because there's a vacancy. It's weird. It's hard to explain. It's an uncanny valley. Even though their face, like the pores are there and it passes the eye test for realism, there's a dull stare, you know what I mean? And then when they go bananas, you've seen the ones where like there'll be like two people sitting there and all of a sudden like get up and start fighting or weird. Or there's all the weird ones where it has like, have you seen the ones with like country leaders walking with their animal behind them and they're all ripped and it's like an eagle and a bear, like they're all that, like all that stuff. And you can just, that's what AI looks like right now. And it's not, it doesn't feel real It doesn't communicate. So like when a client asks us to, we want to make an advertisement for somebody or something.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do is communicate to people and evoke an emotional connection somehow to connect the product to a need or an emotion. And that's where AI really falls short right now because of that voidness I'm talking about. It doesn't hit. You can't hit the heartstrings with it yet.
And I've seen I've seen a couple of where the prompts were really good or the writing was really good. And who knows if that writing was a result of prompts or if it was genuine writing. I couldn't tell you. But I've seen one or two that were like, dude, well done.
Yeah.
There's no denying it. They killed it with what they had.
Yep.
Then in my mind, I go, okay, there's kind of two thoughts. One is any musician can play punk rock.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
Right. So Eric Clapton could play punk rock and I'm sure he could write some awesome punk songs.
Yeah. Too good.
This could be an example of that.
Yeah.
Or, okay, what are you doing for your next trick?
Right.
Because now that's been done.
Right.
And it's no longer, when I worked in television, I worked for television stations when the iPhones started getting really good cameras.
Yeah.
And that was every newsroom across the country did you'll never believe this, but we filmed this story with an iPhone kind of thing. And it's like, okay, now that you've done that, what's next? So let's fast forward a little bit because I don't think either of us are Pollyannas about this.
No.
Right? And both of us.
Next week, we're going to have a segment being like, which one's AI, which one's real?
Yes.
And we're only going to get half of them right.
Totally.
Yeah.
So let's go into the future here, 5 years. I mean, we've seen the Will Smith eating spaghetti, a year ago to now kind of thing. That's a massive jump.
Yep.
So let's just pretend it's a year, 2 years in the future.
Yep.
A lot of those Uncanny Valley problems are solved.
Yep.
And now what does our life look like? What does your life look like?
I think that if we really truly get to the point, because I think a lot of the requests we're getting is basically a cost basis. When we start saying, okay, here's a budget for this production, here's what the crew's going to cost, they have to eat, they have to be there at a certain time, and then there's a number attached to that.
Sure.
And then generally the response is, can we AI that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I totally understand that's real pressure. I'm going to guess that sometime soon we do get to a place where we can almost synthetically AI that. In some spots. I think that it's probably coming as far as the eye test of it looking real or not.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be limited to things like objects, product shoots, locations, because I still think at that point that communication of an emotion, this sounds cheesy, is the most important thing.
Yep.
And like anything else, it's going to be the level or the bar moves up because the technology moves up. Mm-hmm. And still at that, there has to be more competitive agencies or people with that technology that are better than everybody else doing something unique.
Yep.
And the one thing AI cannot do at its nature right now is something unique.
Yes.
Harvest what exists. It's really good at pulling together what already exists and looking at what we already have. But I don't see it having any unique ideas that are cut or above yet. You know what I mean?
That's interesting.
Like when we get, you go from any technology, you go from painting and drawing to a digital tablet to computer animation, you know what I mean? At some point,
I went down a rabbit hole with my writing on it because I love writing and you know me and I can be pretty abrupt in my communication style.
Yeah.
And so God, for a couple months, I was just like every email when I was fired up about something, I'd put it through ChatGPT and just be like, make me sound like less of a dick, please.
Yeah.
And
soften this.
My issue was it would just turn like a passive aggressive kid wrote it, and it wouldn't read it wouldn't get across my desired communication.
Yeah.
So then I would say, make me sound like less of an asshole, but be direct with the points that I keep the points I made, and I'd just be an asshole again. Yeah. So it's like, all right, well. Then I had to come to this conclusion, like what ChatGPT can do for my writing.
Yeah.
It can correct typos, which I make all the time.
Yes.
Right? It can go, hey, I've got a page and a half, shorten this way up. Yeah. And then I'm still going to add another page after it shortens it up. So it's like those kind of proofreading
things. It's so
things.
good at helping with like I said, I call that busy work. It's with the proofreading stuff. And then also it helps you with getting over a hump in the writer's block.
Yes.
Sometimes you're just banging your head against an idea and you're like,
I'm really glad you're bringing this up because I don't think a lot of, I know that every creative is doing this.
Yeah, they are. And it doesn't mean ChatGPT wrote your commercial, but what it means is I'm like, really fixated on it needs to be a guy driving his lawnmower in the front yard, and I just can't make it funny. And then you go, here's the product, here's what I'm talking about, and then it spits out 3 ideas that a hang gliding concept you never even thought of, and you're like, that's funny. And then you take the hang glider and you make a whole concept out of it.
Yes.
It is really nice to get outside the box.
I'll say like,
but it still doesn't give you complete ideas back.
No.
Yeah.
No. And I also think like, look, most humans I meet aren't that funny. No. And so like,
no.
like I'm not,
especially us. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like when you watch stand-up comedy,
yeah.
As somebody who is, Brent, you're one of the funniest people I've ever met. When you're watching stand-up comedy, when funny people watch stand-up comedy, there's like two responses. Yeah. One is like, this guy's a hack.
Yeah.
Or, fuck, I could never think of that.
I would have thought of that.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. I haven't
yep.
seen the like, wow, mind-blowing kind of stuff. It's
well, I think it's a process. You know what I mean? It's gonna have its good effects and its bad effects, but it's just like, I mean, the internet was the biggest one before this. You know, I'd say the printing press, and then the internet, and then now we got AI. But those are pretty big jumps. But same thing, the internet created podcasts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like the internet and cheaper technologies democratized everything. It was always a big thing. We're going to take out the middleman. We're not going to. We're going to take away the gatekeepers, right?
Yeah.
So now, instead of having however many radio stations and radio hosts, you know, or TV stations, TV hosts, you have a significantly higher number of anyone can have a podcast.
Well, look at this.
Anyone can have a podcast. You know what I mean? But you now have millions of pretty mediocre podcasts, and you have some really good podcasts.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Same thing.
So you talk about the junk pile.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So I think the junk pile is getting bigger.
Yes.
Much bigger.
Yeah.
Faster.
Yes.
I also look at this and I go like, okay,
But that competition is what I'm saying.
I don't think we've lost a sale or a client at all, and nor do I foresee that happening.
Yeah.
If we ever did, it would be a client who just doesn't value what we do anyway. So it's like Godspeed anyway, right?
Right.
What I see is a lot of people, and there's nothing against it, but it's okay, I'm going to do this post for LinkedIn, and instead of finding clip art of that one guy, you know, the stick figure guy.
We all do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of using that.
It was in every logo between 1992 and 1998. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Instead of using that image, they're going to come up with a fun AI image to put in there on LinkedIn. They're not fooling anybody.
Yeah.
Nor are they trying to.
Yeah,
it's just trying to illustrate their point and catch an eyeball as it's going by.
Yep.
So I think like if I was in the clip art drawing business, I'd be pretty scared right now.
Sure.
But we're not there yet.
Right.
You know, so that's the way I look at it, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that we've pulled out a lot of positives. I mean, to have a realistic conversation about it, of course, there's going to be some negatives too.
Yeah.
The direction I would be most cautious until we get to the full panic of like, you know, general intelligence, which is a whole different conversation. But in this round we're talking about right now with these language models and visual models is, I think what it'll do is continue the productivity pathway that we've had since the late 80s, early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't always think that that's a good thing. So like, you know, I remember reading like popular science, popular mechanics in like the late 90s and be like, everyone's going to have, you know, a wireless phone. You wouldn't have to have your phone plugged into your wall anymore. You could work anywhere, you know? And it's like, whoa, I could get, and it's like, it's going to free up so much of your life.
I have autonomous buses.
Yeah, I remember seeing this thing where like, this guy was like, he runs his business with his headset and he's doing laps in his pool. And it's like, because all of his time's leisure time now because everything's going to get so, what it's going to do is what that did, which is it's going to just push the expectation of productivity up more and require us to need to do more stuff. Like, you know, there was a convergence where, you know, in the late 90s, I've always said this, where you get to, when you get out of like the Dewey Decimal System and spreadsheets on paper and you start getting into like databases and stuff, you get your productivity bumps.
Yeah.
But there's a convergence and then you go over the top of it and then now we end up in this email, you know, machine gun barrage while you're doom scrolling.
I'll put it back into your world here for video production. I mean, like, you know, it used to be I want a commercial.
Yeah.
I want a 30-second commercial. Now it's I need a 30-second, a 1 minute, a 15 vertical. I need all of these HTML5 banner sizes.
Yep.
And it's fine because AI, right? Or whatever that might be.
Well, and like, also it's just like,
technology might be.
Because everyone else is doing it. And what's all that for? Well, it's got to be consumed. By who?
By who?
Bots?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're right.
But now we've got a video screen in our hand, and we've got a video screen on the wall, and then we've got a video screen in the corner of our eye, and it's on our Alexa, it's on our everything. So
yeah, it used to be you know these poor wedding photographers would shoot, you know, however many rolls of film on the day, and they get you 24 pictures, 50 pictures. Now it's like 2,500 pictures. You know what I mean?
And it's demanded.
And it's just one sweaty guy and his assistant, man, just hammering out those weddings. Much respect for the wedding photographers, because that's a hard job.
I never had to be in that world.
Everyone does it at least as an internship for a little bit, once or twice.
Yeah.
And it's
it sounds god awful.
it's a come up. Yeah.
It's a come up.
Yeah. You gotta do your time.
Real quick before we jump off of AI here, I'll just say, like, in the media planning world,
Yeah.
like kind of in my world, as far as where it's been, we'll start with where it's been really helpful, is, you know, we get so much data output from every buy that we run. So, you know, if we're running a campaign, and a medium-sized campaign is running a few million impressions in a given week, I have a responsibility to my clients to make sure that I'm looking at that data to be like, to be going like, you know, there's things that I'll look for. We've got ad fraud protection and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like things I'll do is I'll eyeball all my data to go like, what's got 100% video completion rate? Because 100% is not, and then what's got a 50%? Because how did it land at 50% on all 1,000 impressions that ran on that domain, and then blacklisting those domains on top of the ad fraud?
Right. It's like the teacher who's every single student got an A.
Exactly. What's going on?
Every 100%
So you
of
must
them?
be a really good teacher.
Yeah.
Something's fishy here.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you've got bad actors who will try to kind of juke the system and juke the algorithms.
Who would know?
So more gets spent to there. So like
Right.
we do eyeball all of that.
Really good point.
But I can now put a lot of that data in there and go, give me all of the websites that, or all of the domains
You
that
can
we're
tell it
delivering.
kind of what
100%.
flags to look for.
Exactly. Look for these flags.
But it can go through so much more data than you can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it can help us cull through that data.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then, so that's nice. On the flip side, the bad actors are utilizing it to get around that.
Yep.
Right. So it's just game theory at that point, whack-a-mole.
Right.
So then it just becomes, and that's where, like, when I look at, like, you know, Meta is big on flagging. Meta and Google are both big on, like, touting their AI buying software. And it's like,
You sure about that?
exactly. Yeah. Like, whoa, like, calm it down, because like, you can juke anything, and the criminals are out there and they're good at it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like that's where, like, you know, I've talked to some people on the media side who are terrified.
Both sides have drones.
What?
Yeah.
yeah. Well, no, like Zuckerberg did this thing like 2 months ago where he came out. He's like, we're going to shut down every agency, you know, kind of thing. And look, homeboy needed a win because his stock prices weren't doing that well.
Sure.
But
Poor
like
guy.
it worked for a lot. Like it sent a lot of media people into a panic.
Yeah.
And the whole point is, like, no matter how good the buying gets, the bad guys are going to get just as good, probably a little bit better, because they get more incentive.
Yeah.
So, like, you're always going to need a human being to cull through it. And now it's just more data to have AI go through, to create more data, to have AI create more. Like, so it just becomes this, like, cycle of, like, look, I could be wrong, and I've worked in I graduated college as a broadcast management major, right? I don't manage broadcast any longer. Like I was in broadcast.
I haven't sold a painting or a sculpture ever in my life.
Yeah, exactly. Like if we're in this industry, we just have to accept that we're always going to have to lean into technology and get excited about where it takes us, and we're not going to know where it's going to take us most days. So like that's kind of where my head's at on it.
We owe it to ourselves not to get left behind.
Yes,
we should keep an eye on this stuff.
Well, it's fun as hell too. Like look at this. I'll use this as to wrap up here. But this podcast system right here, right? So, you know, I built this podcast studio when we built out the studio for our own marketing. So we could get on camera real quick and talk to people about, like, what's going on in our world today. Now, you and I don't have the bandwidth to sit and edit another video. It doesn't financially make sense to me to hire somebody to edit this. So the process, full disclosure here on this, the process is this goes directly into an AI clip editor.
Well, full disclosure, the only people in this room are you and I.
Yeah.
And normally we have a director switching the camera.
That's right.
And there's an AI robot picking which camera. Based on who's talking in the microphone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And based on and so, like, and literally,
which is why we can do this.
So I can plug it in as soon as this is done. I'm going to upload it. And it's going to spit out 50 clips and 5 of them are going to be good.
Yep.
But the 5 of them that are going to be good are going to be just great for social media.
Difference is you're going to watch the 5 that are good before you send them out and not let all 50 hit the internet. And that's the difference.
I like that. It's a good jumping off point.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Brandon Bowman, Media Human. You'll see him again.
Doesn't sell it,
All right.
created.
Later.
From privacy breaches to mental health risks, the dark side of social media is becoming harder to ignore.
Start a war